Okay, so we talked about classes and objects. So class is how you instantiate an object. So in this case the class is a rectangle and we instantiate it right here. And you can instantiate as many objects as you want off a certain class. In this case there's two fields or instance variables, which are width and height. The next thing we kind of talked about, well, I'm not going in order, but the next thing on the list is the compiler. So the compiler takes the .java file, creates a .class file, which can be interpreted by the Java virtual machine. We talked about compile time errors. So if you're missing a double quote, usually you want to create those right away and then just put stuff in between it. Same with the curly braces and the parentheses. Semicolon goes at the end of every line. We talked about constructors. So in our rectangle class we have this constructor right here. When you construct this object, the width and the height get initialized to field or instance variables, and they're both declared private, which is how the AP exam is set up. So make sure those are private, and then you can create getters and setters for them. Fields. So fields hold data and their properties essentially, or attributes. So that's what an object knows or keeps track of. Java is the programming language we're using to tell the computer what to do. The main method is where execution starts. So in this case we have this main class, it's got a main method, and execution starts right here. So it creates two rectangles, prints off the width and height of the first one in the area, width and height of the second one in the area. Methods. So methods are essentially these things. You have a access modifier, and then you have the data type that's going to be returned, and then the method name. So this will return an integer. All you do is take width times height because it's a rectangle, and that's how you do that. Objects, I already talked about this, but they do the actual work in an object-oriented language. So this is an object-oriented language because you can create these objects, construct as many as you want, and then off of this blueprint or class. Syntax errors, that's when there's an error in the specification of the program. So essentially that means, like we talked up here, we talked about syntax errors as far as compile errors. So some of the keywords, class, we already talked about that. Public is a visibility keyword that allows you to have access outside of the class, so that's why we're able to call get width and get height. We're not allowed to directly call these private fields from here. So the instance variables, you have to set them as public if you want to access them directly, but use getters and setters for that. So private is the opposite, so that means you can only access it within the class. So if we had a private method in here, that means that you'd only be able to access it within the class. And I have private in here twice. I don't know why that is. But that's pretty much a recap of chapter 2. So take care, man.